Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're looking at how you can leverage email marketing to really grow your business.
Email marketing. I, I mean, isn't that a bit old school?
That's what I thought too. But we're taking a closer look at this article on Medium called How to Build a Business Growth Engine with Email Marketing and Automation.
Okay.
It's by I Tried It, and they've actually used these strategies themselves to scale their own ventures.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the article argues that you can turn email marketing into a powerful growth engine, especially when you combine it with automation.
Okay, I'm listening.
But the first thing that popped into my head was like, is email even relevant anymore? I mean, with all the social media platforms and algorithms out there?
Yeah, that's a good question. But actually, email is still incredibly relevant. It's all about cutting through the noise and getting directly into your audience's inbox.
Right. You're not relying on some algorithm to show your message to people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the article actually mentions this incredible stat that email marketing generates like $42 for every $1 spent.
Wow, $42 for every dollar. That's a pretty amazing return on investment.
It is, and there are three main reasons why email marketing is so powerful.
Okay, I'm all ears.
The first is personalization. You can tailor your emails to specific groups of people based on their interests and needs.
So it's not just like sending out a generic flyer to everyone.
No, not at all. It's more like a personalized letter.
I like that.
And the second reason email is so powerful is that you actually own your email list.
Oh, that's a good point. You're not at the mercy of some social media platform changing its rules all the time.
Exactly. Your list is a valuable asset that you control. And finally, the third reason email marketing is so effective is that it lets you cultivate long-term relationships with your audience.
So it's about building those connections over time.
Exactly. It's a channel for consistent communication that builds trust and loyalty. Like that skincare brand Glossier.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Well, they built a huge following in part because of their awesome email campaigns. Yeah, they don't just send out sales pitches. They share skincare tips, tutorials, and even personal stories.
Huh. So they're creating more of a community around their brand.
And that's what email marketing can do.
So now let's talk about automation. This article calls it the secret sauce that unlocks email marketing's full potential. What does that really mean, like in a practical sense?
Okay, well, imagine this. You have a system that's working 24/7, sending personalized emails to the right people at the perfect time,
Even when you're sleeping?
even when you're sleeping. It's like having a whole team of email marketers working around the clock to nurture your leads and grow your business.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. The author talks about using automation for things like lead magnets, like offering a free ebook.
Right.
And they saw a massive increase in engagement and conversions.
Absolutely.
Right.
By automating the process, you can welcome new subscribers, nurture them with great content, and even re-engage people who haven't been active. That's huge.
Yeah, and it saves so much time.
It does. Automation frees you up to focus on other parts of your business.
So, okay, how do we actually build this email marketing growth engine? Where do we start?
Well, the first step is choosing the right email marketing platform.
Makes sense. Are there certain features we should be looking for?
Definitely. You want a platform with a user-friendly drag-and-drop email builder so you don't need to know any code to make your emails look amazing?
Oh, so no need to hire a designer just to send out a newsletter.
Exactly. Platforms like MailChimp or Flowdesk are great for that. And you'll also want robust segmentation and list building tools.
Segmentation.
Yeah, you can organize your contacts into groups based on their interests, behavior, and purchase history, so you can send more targeted emails that will resonate with them.
That makes sense. The article talks a lot about the importance of segmentation, like dividing your audience into groups like new subscribers, existing customers, and maybe people who haven't engaged in a while.
Right, and then you can tailor your message to each group.
That seems way more effective than just sending the same email to everyone.
It is. And another super important feature is automation workflows.
What are those?
Basically, you create a series of emails that are automatically sent out based on specific actions or events.
Oh, so like when someone signs up for your email list, they automatically get a welcome email.
Exactly. Or if they abandon their cart, you can send them an email reminding them about the items they left behind.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, there are all sorts of workflows you can set up to guide people through the buying process.
This is getting really interesting. Now, what about the content of the emails themselves? I mean, how do we make sure they actually resonate with our audience and provide real value?
That's a great question. And honestly, it's not about bombarding people with sales pitches.
Right, I hate getting those.
We need to focus on providing genuine value. So educating our audience, addressing their needs, and helping them solve problems.
The author mentions that their open rates and engagement went way up when they switched from hard selling to providing valuable educational content.
It makes sense. People are more likely to open an email if they think it's going to help them in some way.
So how do we create that kind of content?
One powerful tool is storytelling.
Storytelling.
Yeah, whether you're sharing customer success stories, personal anecdotes, or behind-the-scenes insights, storytelling makes your brand more relatable and helps you build trust with your audience.
I can see that. And people are more likely to remember a story than just a list of features and benefits.
Exactly. And another tip is to offer exclusive deals and early access to new products or content just for your email subscribers.
Oh, that's a good idea. It makes them feel special.
Right. It's all about creating a sense of community and rewarding people for being part of your list.
This is all great stuff. But it's not enough to just set up these systems and then forget about them, right? We need to be tracking our progress and making adjustments along the way.
Absolutely. We need to keep an eye on the data to see what's working and what's not.
Okay, so what are the key metrics we should be tracking?
Well, let's dive into that after a quick word from our sponsor. So we were talking about the key metrics to track for email marketing success.
Right. Like, how do we know if our emails are actually working?
Exactly. So one of the most important metrics is the open rate.
Okay, so that's basically how many people are opening our emails.
Yeah, it gives you a good idea of how effective your subject lines are.
Oh, right. Because if people aren't even opening the email, then it doesn't really matter what's inside.
Exactly. So a low open rate could mean that your subject lines aren't catchy enough, or maybe you're sending emails at a time when people aren't checking their inbox.
Makes sense. What about after someone opens the email? What should we be tracking then?
That's where click-through rates come in.
Click-through rates?
Yeah. It measures how many people are clicking on the links in your emails, so it tells you how engaging your content is and whether your calls to action are working.
So it's like getting someone to open the door, but then they realize the party isn't very exciting.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. If people are opening your emails but not clicking on anything, you might need to rethink your content or make your calls to action more compelling.
Okay, I'm writing all this down. So we've got open rates and click-through rates. What else is there?
Well, the ultimate goal of email marketing is to drive conversions.
Conversions, meaning like getting people to buy something or sign up for a webinar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So your conversion rate tells you how many people are actually taking the desired action after clicking on a link in your email.
That's a really important metric to track, for sure.
It is. And by analyzing these metrics, you can start to see what's working and what's not.
Right. Like maybe our open rates are great, but our click-through rates are low.
Exactly. That could indicate a problem with the email content itself, or maybe the calls to action aren't clear enough.
Or maybe our click-through rates are good, but our conversion rates are low.
Right. That might mean there's an issue with your landing page or the checkout process.
So it's all about looking at the data and making adjustments.
Exactly. It's like having a dashboard for your email marketing efforts.
I like that analogy.
Yep.
So, one thing that worries me a bit is that people are already bombarded with so many emails these days.
I hear you.
How do we make sure we're not just adding to the noise and annoying people?
That's a great question. And it's all about being respectful of people's time and inbox space.
So no spamming people with irrelevant messages.
Definitely not. Remember, people subscribe to your list because they're interested in what you have to offer.
Right. So we need to make sure we're providing value with every email.
Exactly. And that starts with making sure your emails are even getting to the inbox in the first place.
Oh, right. Because sometimes emails end up in the spam folder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you need to use a reputable email marketing platform, follow best practices for email deliverability, and avoid doing things that trigger spam filters.
Like what kind of things?
Well, make sure people have explicitly opted in to receive your emails, use a recognizable sender name, and avoid using spammy language in your subject lines and email content.
Okay, good to know. So assuming our emails are reaching the inbox, how do we make them stand out and get people to actually open them?
Well, the subject line is crucial. It's like the headline of your email. It needs to be attention-grabbing and accurately reflect the content inside.
No clickbait allowed.
Definitely not. You want to set clear expectations. And once people open the email, the content itself needs to be engaging, informative, and easy to read.
Keep it concise, right? People are busy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Use formatting visuals, white space, and short paragraphs to break up the text and make it more digestible.
And don't forget the call to action.
Right. You want to make it crystal clear what you want people to do after reading your email.
Whether it's visiting your website, downloading a resource, or making a purchase.
Exactly. And remember, email marketing is a two-way street. You want to encourage people to reply, ask questions, and share their thoughts.
So it's about building a conversation.
Exactly. That's what helps you turn subscribers into loyal customers and advocates for your brand.
Wow, this is a lot to take in, but I feel like we've covered so much ground already.
We have. And it's clear that email marketing is a really powerful tool when used correctly.
But let's be honest, setting up all of this can feel kind of daunting, especially for someone who's new to email marketing and automation.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So my advice would be to start small.
Okay, so like don't try to automate everything at once.
Exactly. Choose a user-friendly email marketing platform that fits your budget and needs.
There are lots of options out there, right?
There are. And many of them offer free trials or basic plans, so you can test the waters before committing to anything.
And what about building our email list? Where do we even start with that?
Focus on growing your list organically by offering valuable lead magnets like free ebooks or checklists, and make sure it's easy for people to sign up on your website and social media.
So no buying email lists.
Definitely not. Quality over quantity.
And when it comes to automation, maybe just start with a simple welcome sequence.
Exactly. Get comfortable with the basics, and then you can gradually add more complex workflows as you go.
Okay, that makes sense. And above all, always focus on providing value and building relationships with your subscribers.
Couldn't agree more. Treat them like VIPs, respect their inbox space, and give them content that they'll actually find useful and enjoyable.
And in the end, it's all about connecting with people and building a community around your brand.
Exactly. Email marketing is just one tool to help you do that.
This has been such a great conversation. I'm feeling a lot more confident about using email marketing to grow my business.
That's great to hear. And, the author of the article we're discussing today really emphasizes that long-term perspective.
Oh, right. What do they say?
They talk about shifting your mindset from chasing quick wins to cultivating a loyal community of engaged customers.
So it's about building those lasting relationships.
Exactly. And those relationships are what will ultimately drive sustainable growth for your business.
I love that. It's not just about making a quick sale. It's about creating something that will last.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of email marketing and automation working together.
They can really transform your business.
They can. And it's all about working smarter, not harder.
Well said. Well, this has been an incredibly insightful conversation. I feel like I've learned so much.
I'm glad to hear that. It's been a pleasure diving deep into this topic with you.
Likewise. And before we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. So we've talked about all these different automated workflows like welcome sequences, lead nurturing, abandoned cart reminders, and re-engagement campaigns. But how do we know which ones are going to be the most effective for our specific business?
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? You really need to understand your own customer journey.
So like, what are the steps people take from the moment they first hear about our brand to the point where they become a loyal customer?
Exactly. And then you can use that knowledge to create automated workflows that guide people through each stage of the process.
So it's not about just picking a random workflow and hoping for the best.
No, not at all. It's about being strategic and tailoring your approach to your specific audience and business goals.
Okay, that makes sense. So where do we start? How do we figure out our customer journey?
Well, think about the different touch points people have with your brand. How do they find you? What are their initial questions or concerns? What information do they need to make a decision?
And then we can use that information to create targeted email sequences that address those specific needs.
Precisely. And don't be afraid to experiment and test different approaches to see what works best for your audience.
So like A/B testing different subject lines or email content.
Exactly. You can even test different sending times or the order of your emails in a sequence.
It's all about finding that sweet spot that maximizes engagement and conversions.
You got it.
Yep.
And remember, the most important thing is to provide value to your subscribers.
Right. If people feel like they're getting something out of your emails, they'll be more likely to open them, click through, and ultimately become customers.
And advocates for your brand. Don't forget that part.
Absolutely. Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into the world of email marketing and automation.
It has. I feel like we've covered so much ground.
We have, and I'm walking away with a whole new understanding of how powerful these tools can be when used correctly.
Me too. And remember, it's all about building relationships with your audience, providing value, and working smarter, not harder.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today. It's been a pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine. And to all our listeners out there, we encourage you to embrace the power of email marketing and automation and watch your businesses grow.
Until next time, happy emailing.